is that all they're doing is fighting for drugs and shooting each other for drugs, and I wish they would stop. If you haven't brought in the question of who brings the drugs in, why the drugs are brought in, for what purpose they're brought in, you will never understand the problem at all. Thus we make it clear to each and every one, when we speak of the conditions of the African masses, we begin from the very beginning with the enemy of the African masses, all unjust system that seeks to exploit us, capitalism, and especially the racist capitalist system in the United States of America. Therefore, we tell you from the very beginning, we've never taken the line of others that the biggest problem that we have is we ourselves. No, our biggest problem is our enemy, capitalism, and it must be destroyed. Even if one were to talk about the drugs in our community, if you just talk about drugs and not talk about the enemy, you make no analysis at all. Or you may sound serious.
Welcome back. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media. This is a few minutes with HRap, where every day I come on air and attempt to uplift our people so we can make our lives for our great-grandchildren's grandchildren better than we ever imagined. Now, thank you for tapping in. Anybody who knows me understands that's my goal. I want to thank my parents, Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John coming together, create me, you'd be doing something else with your valuable time. So thank you for your valuable time, and thank you to my parents. Now, let's go. What I want to do is talk about a millionaire mindset. Now, a millionaire mindset seems to be diametrically opposed with the aforementioned elder and ancestor, Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael, was just talking about. But we can't remove capitalism until we make people realize that that's not the way to go, but we can engage in that system until we overthrow that system and get it out of our way. What do I mean by that? Is this. We live in a capitalist society where cash is king, finance rules the roost, and we have failed to put a foothold into that. We love to brag about we are in the top 25 nations in the world in regards to finances. $2.5 trillion passed through our communities on a regular basis, on an annual basis. That's more than 27 other countries, developed countries like Italy and Spain and Portugal. We have more money than them, but we don't. It's not about what you have. It's all about what you keep. See, we still are in the mindset of, I'm an American. I need to work into the system of America. I need to work my way into the system of America. And we haven't stopped and paid attention. The Italian Americans, the Irish American, the German American, the Western European, the Eastern European Americans, the Russian Americans, the Asian Americans, everyone has their own foothold in the country, and they work inside of that foothold. And in the event they need to, they'll reach out, grab the resources, come back to their communities. You would assume by conversations within our community, we're the only people that have strife. Not so. When you talk about the Latino community, and to be specific, the Mexican cartels, there's more than one cartel. Who are they fighting against? Me being a criminal justice major, I realized I've been educated to the point where the largest organized crime organizations on earth are the Asian Mafia and the Russian Mafia. Who are they fighting against? When you talk about the American Mafia, Costa Nostra, who are they fighting against? The Irish organized crime organization, who are they fighting against? The Jewish organized crime organizations, who are they fighting against? Again, this shows you that interaction and interactive violence or intercommunal violence is a human thing, not a black thing. We are not germane to having disagreements and violent interactions with each other, especially when we've been herded into one area and not allowed to leave those areas. There's nobody else we would have issue with. And in some euphoric sense, we should just get along. Well, you spiritual brothers and sisters, the Bible started off with two people who come from the same womb and didn't get along. So let's get away from euphoria and some utopic mind state that we are all going to hold together and skip down the street like the damn Smurfs. It's not going to happen. It's not what human beings do. Human beings have disagreements. Human beings enact violence against each other, and that's just the name of that's just the name of that tune. Let's get past that. Today, what I want to do is instruct you to go to www.theendofbench.com. You can see all my work there. Well, you see 90 days of my work, and then you can go to, if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully you are. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to the End of the Bench Media and see everything I've ever done over the last 4 or 5 years. Yes, 4 or 5 years. Yeah, thank you. Big ups to me. On the 13th of December, it'll be 5 years. Now, what I want to talk about today, though, is $1 million mindset, a millionaire mindset. See, we've been herded into Americanism, whereas there's a stair-step system and you must go through the system, or as we used to say back in the 70s or the 60s and the 70s, got to go through the man, but you really don't have to go through the man. First and foremost, identify who and what you are. Yeah, 13% of the population. It is utterly amazing how the people who were herded here, the people who were over here for hundreds of thousands of years, the people who were herded here, only 32 or only 13% of the people are herded here. 48% of the people went to South America that were taken from the continent. There was already people here. You can go check the book and verse about that. Again, let me put this disclaimer out there for the people who are watching for the first time. I don't want you to take my word for anything. What I want you to do is research everything I say. And when you research everything I say, hopefully you'll come back, you hit subscribe, and then we can continue to interact and we can build this community the way I would love to see it, or the way we would love to see it, because it's not about me, it's about us. Back to the point. How could it possibly be that we're the minority in the country, that people were brought here and sent here? Europe threw up, sent people on 3 boats and said, hey, get those people out of our country. And they came over here and they spread disease, violence, and things of that nature. Start eating each other. Yeah, eating each other. And then we, as the natives, came and helped them survive. And then the rest is history. How could we be fewer than anybody? There were breeding camps. Again, there were breeding camps designed to create more of us. That means there was some of our sisters, some of our brothers, some of our aunts, uncles, grandparents were used to just create more of us. And you still want me to believe we're the smallest population in the world, in the country. Why is it that the 13% is always at the tip of the tongue of the Republican and Democratic Party? If we can get the black vote, we can be okay. If we can get the black vote, we'll be okay. Why do you need the smallest portion? Why do you need 13% of the vote? Which means 13% of the vote is larger than any other population in the world. I think it was last time I checked, it was like 126 million Russians in Russia, the largest land mass in Europe. 126. How is it that they outnumber us over here? They couldn't. I think it's 86 million Germans in Germany. How could they outnumber us over here? So if it's documented that most people from our community don't deal with the census, how could it possibly, and they're saying 45 to 50, which means it's probably like 55 to 60 or 65 to 70, but let's not get into semantics. How could we be the smallest population and you come from other places? And we reproduce faster than you, and you literally had us outnumbering you on those death camps, aka plantations, sometimes 35, 40 to 1. So how could that be possible? How could that possibly be true? It can't be true. Because if it was true, then we would be larger. We'll be the largest population in the country. And you would never have to give us, you could never, ever be able to hold us down, hold us back, and attempt to destroy us. But we believe what our oppressors have told us, and that's where the problem starts. We need to have a millionaire mindset. What is a millionaire mindset? A millionaire mindset is the average millionaire, even in the fictitious world, the average millionaire develops his children so he can take his role. I am a very successful person. I want my children, like the person, there's one man who owns Louis Vuitton, Hennessy, and I think it's another big name brand that we all deal with. That man he has one of his children, one of each anchor of that portfolio. because he wants his children to continue to prosper, and he wants his name and his legacy to continue to grow. We need a millionaire mindset. And once we get that millionaire mindset in regards to a communal position, we'll be unstoppable. No one will be able to touch us with a 10-foot pole. And that's just the way the thing works. Now, the easiest way to do that is this. What we have to do is take over our community. How do we take over our community? We take over our community by doing and not saying. We no longer want to do what should be done, identifying the problems, because we know what the problems are. If you don't know what the problems are, then I'm going to need you to do a little research, because the average person that watches this program is 35 and older. You should know what the problems are. And if you don't know what the problems are, go to www.individual.com, watch my programming. You can go to YouTube and watch everything I've done, and it should give you a great idea of what the problems are. But up until then, in that moment, what we have to do is stop kicking the can down the road. Stop passing the buck. What I mean by passing the buck this week, perfect example this week. I posted the fact that Living Fresh grocery store, the largest Black-owned grocery store in the United States of America, was having financial troubles. Two people, a lot of people say, hey, man, it's awesome. A millionaire in Black Chicago posted, I'm going to go spend $500. Please, can I get 1,000 people to go spend $100 and help these people out? We strolled up and drove. At the middle of the day, they were at 1,600 people. So that means, let's just say, extrapolate that to another 900 people, so 2,500 people. The average grocery store in the Chicago metropolitan area, in the Chicago metropolitan area has about 2,000 people a day. Bam, they on track. Two people represented what I believe is the problem. One person said, well, that grocery store is owned by a mega church. And if the people from the mega church just support it, they'll be okay. That person I personally know, and that person lives less than 4 miles away from that grocery store. How about you take your behind in that store? How about the people that you know in that area? Because people who I know that know you have approached me. Aren't you that person's relative? I said, yeah. So if you have people living in the area, how about you just spread the word, and you and your friends and your cohorts and your significant others start going to that grocery store and never go back into a Walmart, never go back into a Kroger or related store, which could be Jewel, which could be Mariano's or what have you. Don't go back into those stores. Go there. And the second person said, I just want to know why people didn't go in there in the first place. Maybe it was due to ignorance. Maybe most people, like me, I've drove past that store. If I drove past that store once, I've drove past that store 100 times. Did not know it was a Black grocery store. Did not have a clue. So it was just another new grocery store. Like, interesting looking store. Didn't know it was Black owned. But how about this? Pledging to go and going after you find out. Let's not focus on what is not. Let's start focusing on what is. Don't solve the problem. Be a part of the solution. See, why didn't they? They should have. We could have. They may have. All that foolishness and rigmarole is not doing us any good whatsoever. We continue to pass the buck. See, I thought. See, you could have. How about I'm going to? That's not helping us. Identifying another problem. See, it could have been. It should have been. It would have been. I'm going to. Going forward, I will. End of conversation. We consistently pass the buck. What's wrong with these children? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? I rarely and almost never hear, this is the problem, and this is what we need to do. That's why I try to do that on this program. I never complain about something that I don't have a problem with. I heard this saying a long time ago. The price of admission of a complaint is offering a solution. And that's what I'm doing. Let's stop figuring out why we don't shop at Black stores, Black-owned stores. Let's stop saying, well, we don't have to. See, we shouldn't only have to. That's just your way of saying, I love boss's ice and it's colder than mine. Because if you want me to believe that you've never shopped at an establishment outside of our community and never been disrespected, never been ill-served, never been dissatisfied, I'm just going to call BS on that. I'm going to call you a liar. I'm not going to say, well, it's just not my experience. I'm going to call you a liar. Because there's no way you've lived in these United States of America and you've been going into restaurant after restaurant after restaurant, or grocery store after grocery store after grocery store, all these establishments throughout these United States of America that were not Black owned, and you didn't feel disrespected, denigrated, poor service, disappointed. One of those D's, you felt it, but you return at McDonald's, you return to Burger King, and then I even had somebody, when I said, so you know, oh, well, those not real restaurants. So you mean tell me every time you went to Applebee's or Ruth Chris or the Cheesecake Factory, it was pristine? You've never had dissatisfied service. You've never reduced the tip because the server did not live up to your standards. Of course you have, but you don't want to carry that same weight. Why is it that when you go into a Black establishment who's building up, you don't afford grace? Well, I went 4 times and it was still 4 times. Did you reach out to the owner of the establishment? Did you reach out to the manager of the establishment? See, you know, the same things when a lot of us go to Yelp, a lot of us look at ratings. Why didn't we go and approach the people who own it? Oh, they might do this. It's always an excuse. So start kicking the can down the road. And then just because of that Black establishment did not satisfy you, that does not mean write off all Black establishments. Because guess what? The funny thing is, I was watching Instagram, when you're scrolling through Instagram, and this lady who I follow, she's hilarious. I'm going to keep following her too. She was like, what we have to do as a people is step up. Well, see, we need to do this. We always, a lot of the times we fall short. So should I look at your stuff and go, you're not funny as Marshall Warfield. You're not funny as any Black comedian that's, you know, some more. So you don't cut it. Or should I just accept in that instance, those people fell short, but I have dozens and hundreds and thousands of instances like this program in which I was satisfied with what I saw, or your program or your comedy or whatever it was. I was totally satisfied with what I got. But no, it's just like the Tyler Perry situation. Great story, average acting, average directing, really embraced the feeling of what he was trying to do. I absorbed it. But what people do, hey, I really enjoyed it, but I've never heard but when I watched Star Wars. I never heard but when I saw Mad Max. Arnold Schwarzenegger could barely speak English, and people enjoyed those movies because they were there for the story, not for the critique. We must get away from these things. This is what's stopping us. Uplift, enhance, embrace, and move forward. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm not telling you to BS yourself. But what I am telling you is this. The denigration is not worth the spill. That's all I'm saying. The reason we brag about how much money we make, because we over-index on things. The over-indexing on things has made it possible for other communities to live off 2 incomes. The income in their community and the income from our community. Stop over-indexing. Stop over-indexing on McDonald's, because you can, you know, we joke about, hey man, you got McDonald's at home. Well, you know what? Our parents had it right. You got money for McDonald's? Maybe you don't. There is no such thing as I don't have time. You had time, you were doing something else. Allocate your time properly. Allocate your time properly. We over-index on other TV. See, I'm trying to be well-rounded. Well, if that's the case, why is it that Black shows are rarely number one? You know, when this is the number one show in the world, how is it that most Black people in the United States of America love that television show, The Wire, but it never got any Emmys, it never got any award nominations, it never got anything. But what it did do, it is a culturally iconic program, but nobody paid attention because it was primarily focusing on us. So we always try to satisfy the status quo, but the status quo never comes back. That means we're over-indexing. That means Nike. I got to be Nike. I got to be Apple. I got to wear Louis Vuitton. I got to have Coach. I have that. that means those people will continue to get rich. I've never heard anybody complain about how much Hennessy costs, but I have heard people talk about how much Uncle Nearest and Fawn Weaver costs. Black-owned distillery. I've heard, oh man, that's a little expensive, but you're gonna pay the same $40 for the same fifth of Hennessy. Not a problem. It's a little more expensive. See, they charge too much. But how can you say they charge too much and you have on $700 pair of pants? You have on a $200 pair of loafers or $500 pair of loafers. I got these red bottoms. They only cost $1,100. But the extra $6 that Fawn Weaver is trying to charge you for Uncle Nearest liquor is too much. You know why? Because you don't respect that because it's black. See, if we over-indexed in our situation, guess what would happen? If we start drinking Fawn Weaver's liquor and using her spirits, guess what happens? We uplift her brand and she becomes the standard. If we start looking for black breweries and drink their beer, now all of a sudden there are jobs created. With Fawn creates more jobs, the black brewery creates more jobs, black liquor emporiums, they have more. We focus on what they have to offer, and then guess what happens? We become the standard. I got to get what's like Microsoft right here. Well, I have to get an Android. I'm team Android. You got people arguing. Hey, Apple's my boss. Hey, Android's my boss. No. There's a black phone company out there who has a phone. Oh man, it ain't perfect. The camera ain't perfect. How many damn pictures do you need? But if we over-indexed in his service, he has a phone service, and we over-indexed in his phone, his development will exponentially increase. And guess what? We walk away from it all. But we don't do that. We don't even look for it. We wait on them to put $10 million in front of in a football game, and then we see it. Oh, the new such and such. Hey, I'm talking to you on a MacBook, and if you call me, I'm gonna answer on the Apple phone, on the iPhone. So I'm not talking about anybody but myself as well as everybody around me. But we over-index on these things, and we make them millionaires. The same people that can make Levi's in Haiti or Haiti, the proper enunciation of it, we can have jean companies as well. The same people that make who used to make Jabot jeans, who make polo shirts. We used to have True Colors and cross colors and used and all kinds of what was this? I can't think of his name right now. Iniche. It was a bunch of people making our clothes, and we specifically focused on those clothes. We will create opportunities. Tom Ford is the new guy. He's the new Ralph Lauren. Not a problem with Tom Ford. I don't purchase his gear. I don't wear his cologne. I don't wear his shoes. But you know what? There are 1.5 million seamstresses and tailors that make suits and women attire every year for prom. Has no one ever thought about this? Prom season comes around, you spend that exorbitant amount of money on one outfit for one day. You ever thought about this? Prom was last week. Okay, it's summertime. I want to have a fall wardrobe. Go to that same seamstress. I bet you that same $800 that you spent on your daughter's dress, she will clothe you, or he will clothe you for the entire winter, and it'll be tailored to you. And and you can even get labels with your name, clothes for da-da-da-da. Because my grandmother, Dolores Pollard, my clothes as a younger person until she transitioned to the ancestral realm, used to say clothes by Dolores Pollard, my grandmother. Imagine if we start doing that. You got a guy from New York City by the name, his nickname is Dapper Dan. I don't know his traditional name. I don't know the name his mother gave him, so he Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan ended up going to the penitentiary because he started reinventing Louis Vuitton, MCM, and all those clothes and putting them in cars and things of that nature. He had whole factories full of people. He became a millionaire because of this. Now he's an employee of Louis Vuitton, and I just saw him last night on a Lincoln Navigator commercial. Imagine if we all start. It's a Dapper Dan in every major metropolitan area in America. Imagine if we start over-indexing on local businesses. And again, I know it's somebody in the background going, but see. You have to be outside your entire mind if you believe that there's only some bases out there. It's a matter of fact, you can go tools. You know what? I have a person. I know a person, because your goal should be to, hey, how about this? If you send enough people to HRap the tailor and HRap's lady, the seamstress, and now they have so many orders, they have to teach other people to do what they do. They become millionaires, and now you can say, hey, yo, Rap, I was your number one guy out there putting that word out. Let me work for you so I could be your social media guy, so I could be your person on the street, so I could be the manager of one of your stores, creating opportunities for each other and not waiting on other people to give it to us. See, if we're going to over-index and have a millionaire mindset and want to sit around like this and drink champagne and have $10,000 watches and things like that, they're black watchmakers, they're black champagne makers. Isaiah Thomas, yes, the Isaiah Thomas, former NBA legend, former Detroit Piston bad boy. Yes, he has his own champagne brand. There's a black-owned automaker as well. What if we start over-indexing into that? Look at that. The things that we love to spend on. Hey, man, I got this slick ride and I overpaid for it. You can go somewhere else and get the same car. What if we start opening our own dealerships and build them up just like the dealerships that are built up here? CarMax did not start with the big flowery thing that you saw. CarMax started small and broke it up. Carvana started small and built it up. We can do the same things. We can do the exact same things. Most of us are Chase Bank, PNC, Fifth Third Bank, Bank of America. Most of us there. Guess what? Bernice King, the daughter of the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I think her name is Denise Williams. I know her last name is Williams. I can't think of her first name. She runs. Bernice King is creating a bank right now. Bought a brick and mortar bank in Utah with some investors. She's coming. There's already a One United Bank. Hey, and if I had my wallet with me, I'll show you the card. It has a king sitting on the throne on the debit card. If we start we don't even have to put $1,000 in there, $10,000. Just open up the account. Send $45, $50 to the account. I'm not saying they got to even be saved. Just send it over there. Use the debit card. You know, when you go get your gas, bam, there you go. You're using that. Let them get the little 10, 12 cents every time you use your debit card that Chase is getting. Do you understand? If 400,000 of us who make $40,000 or more put $180 every paycheck into that account, again, I'm not asking you to save it. I mean, I can't afford to do that. Not a problem. Just put it over there and use that debit card and transfer money over there when you can, and use that credit card, building that bank up. If you did that for a year, January 1st, we all go to One United and get that bank. Half of us go to 250,000, 200,000 of us go to One United, and then the others go to the Bernice King's bank. Do y'all understand that's $1.5 billion in each bank? $1.25 billion, because it's 2.5 billion, $1.25 billion in both banks. You can rewrite the financial system in the United States of America with Black America. See, that's how you engage in capitalism, and stop over-indexing in theirs. Stop feeding the McDonald people, Ray Kroc and his people. Stop feeding Bill Gates and his people. I don't know who own these people, American Express. That way you can have debit cards, you can have credit cards, Hewlett Packard. There's a Black person engineering all these. How about this? There's a Black form of Tubi out there. Yeah, Tubi is not Black owned. Nerd alert. How about that? It is a Mansa, though, that has a higher quality of film put on there, and it's multicultural for your people who, I just don't want to do Black stuff. It's multicultural. Guess what? Gary Owen, he over there. It's a bunch of white guys over there with that stuff. If we download Mansa and use that instead of Tubi, bam, we win. Black owned. They have a better split with their product. They're splitting a better percentage. So those Black creators who put those low budget movies on there that y'all always disrespect, but y'all love to watch. Tubi ain't been out of business yet. Go over to Mansa, put it on there, and watch what happens. We don't have to over-index in them. We need to over-index in us. All we have to do is continue to do what we have to do to survive, and we will survive. That's just the bottom line. Stop waiting on somebody to save us when we have the formula for safety. We have the formula for a winning. We are winning on our own. We don't need to do that. Which leads me to another point. Self-determination. Stop saying what other people say we are. Self-definition, I'm sorry. Defining who we are. We are not loud, ignorant, ghetto, trifling, rude. No, our women are not whores, just a bunch of single moms and just having a bunch of babies. No, they're not. Is it a portion of our society that does the worst, that projects the worst form of our community? Yes, it is. But you know what? Other communities have the same thing. That's why the term hillbilly and white trash, we didn't come up with those. Redneck, we didn't come up with those terms. So just like there's a portion of their society that are not living up to social standards, because who set those standards? But we're not going to get into that. We are not the worst of us. I know far too many Black folks that are married and happily married. But meanwhile, at one point, 45% of the population was, when I was younger, 45%, 35% of the population getting divorced. In my 30s, it was 45 to 48%. Then now it's more than 50% of people end up in divorce. So basically, if more than half the people get a divorce, and I don't marry my children's mother, but 60 Black men are 60% more likely to engage in rearing children, picking them up from school, helping them with their homework, hugging them, giving them baths and things. And then what the hell is the difference? What the hell is the difference? If you live on the south side of town, I live on the east side of town, and we divorce, what's the difference? Oh, you had a party? Oh, you broke your word, because that's all that is. A divorce is inability to live up to a promise that you made to yourself, that person, and God. That's all a divorce is. I swear to God that I'm gonna love this person through thick and thin, through sickness and health, through everything that you can go through as a man and a woman. And you said, I don't want to do that no more. But me and this other woman, we got together. It didn't work out. We created a young person. We're raising that young person. We're rearing that young person. That person is being a well-rounded individual who's receiving love from his parent and an additional co-parent, and the other parent, an additional co-parent. This is a young person who's receiving attention, love, and adoration from 4 different people. And you telling me that's a bad thing? Hey, is the nuclear family perfect? It would be, but it's not. That's not the case. It's not the case. So why are we allowing people to tell us who we are? This is what you need to do. Now you need to do what you do and leave me alone. Why is it that everybody knows the statistics on my community? This is the percentage of Black people. Black people commit all the crimes, or Black people. It has been studied that time immemorial that we are over policed. People from other communities use drugs more, but we go to jail for more. It's been studied and documented and said in front of the whole world by one Oliver North that people push dope and guns into our community. You can clearly see that people taking opportunities out of our community, from academic opportunities, employment opportunities, and then you push guns and dopes into our community, and then bam. I talked about it on my show Monday, how it's amazing how you couldn't teach the metric system, but a lot of people, Black people, drop out of school at this rate. Well, again, how the hell do y'all know what's going on in Black America so damn much? But Black people drop out of school at this rate, and we can't teach them, and they're untenable, and they're just violent. But somehow, some way, Black people figured out how to learn the metric system to sell dope. You think that was by mistake? You can't teach me in 5th grade a kilo is 1,000 grams, but at 16, when I'm outside on the street, I know a kilo is 1,000 grams, and I know exactly how to break it up in the metric system. And I know I know 9 millimeter and everything in the metric system that's on the street level. But you want me to believe that's because we are innately violent and people in my community don't have any respect for themselves or anything around them? No, that's by design. Look, are people responsible for their own choices? Of course. But when you put people in a situation to whereas they assume that they don't have a choice, don't get mad at me for making the wrong choice. But You have people in this community that allow people to denigrate us, disrespect us, and disregard us. And then what do? They follow it up by saying, see, you should know better. How? You self-determining. Why are we determining our young people should be thrown away? I say this all the time. If the young people should be thrown away, just like saying it's the cake fault that the cake isn't delicious. Did you bake the cake? Did you put the ingredients in the cake? Did you wash it in the oven? Oh, it's hard as a brick. Did you overcook the cake? Did you undercook the cake? Did you put all the right ingredients in the cake? Now, the cake would be the young person. The cake would be the young person, the young man. Will young people make mistakes? Of course they will. They have PhDs and messing up. That's what they do. Young people drop the ball because every time they wake up and open their eyes, it's something new. But are you talking to your children or talking at your children? Are you listening to your children? Or are you hearing and waiting to respond? Are you raising your children or are you making sure they eat every day? Are you making sure they eating and clothed every day? Have you helped your neighbor? See, I'm going to need people to stop talking about the Bible if you're not going to follow the Bible. Love your neighbor. Respect your wife. Love your wife. Wives, love your husbands as Christ loved the church. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. But you're not doing that. I am my brother's keeper. Not Cain. I am my brother's keeper. Because guess what? If you uplift a young person next door, that means that young person will respect you. And even if he goes wayward, like some young people in my life, they went left. And when I was thinking about going left, they was like, nah, B, you're not that. Go back. You don't need this. This is not for you. I remember a literal gang leader told 4 or 5 of me and my homies, hey, no. He told one of my homeboys who was trying to actively become a member of street organizations, it's not for you. Catch up with your crowd. That's because he understood this life is not a good life. It looks cool. I might have a real nice car. I might even wear real nice clothes. A lot of people may seem to respect me, but this is not the way. If we're not doing that to our young people, how are we disrespecting our young people and saying what they are not? Again, did they get the ingredients? You were the chef. You created it. Don't complain about the community isn't the way it used to be if you've not attributed to the betterment of the community. Stop talking about back in the day. Hey, back in the day, you were a child and there was somebody your age helping raise you. That's why you look at it with such reverence. Don't turn around to somebody 15, 16 years old and talk about what they did or do not have or what they're not like us, because you were not like your parents, your uncles, your aunts, and your neighbors. No one wants to talk about that. See, this is the problem. Okay, here's the solution. Oh, well, I tried it for 5 years and it didn't work. Did you raise your children for 5 years? Did your parents raise you for 5 years? Did your grandma raise you for 5 years? Interesting. So you know what's not gonna happen after 5 years of helping people, and you walked away. So did people walk away from you after 5 years? Did people walk away from you when you did that stupid thing you did? I doubt it, because that's not the way the people did it when we were coming up. When we came up, people invested in people wholeheartedly and forever. Wholeheartedly and forever. There was no limitation. There was no statute of limitation. There was no time to give up. See, that's your problem. See, I'm sick of this. You should know better. If people gave up on you like that, where would you be? Where would you be right now? You wouldn't be where you are. But you're comfortable just turning your back on young people. You're comfortable with that, which scares the hell out of me. If you're comfortable turning your back on young people, then I don't want to hear it. Don't complain about them then. Because if you are a person who are willing to let something rot and rot away and drift down the river, it's not the young people that's the problem. It's you. You turned your back on the youth. Oh, well, his mother shouldn't have. Well, if people thought that, hey, those people from the old school and it ain't like it used to be. And see, this is the problem. Y'all, all of y'all, I guarantee you, unless you were that unique child that did everything right and never made any hiccups and any mistakes, never had slipped and fall and hurt your knee, I guarantee you there was somebody in your life that stopped you from doing something stupid. That may have been an inflection point of your life. You were going down the path and that was the wrong path. And they stopped you and said, hey, what's going on? And they may not even address what you were doing. They just were somebody of authority that may have seen you doing something wrong and you did not want to get back to your parents. And if you're not doing that, you're not speaking to these young people, you're speaking at them. You're driving past, shaking your head. You have preconceived notions. Oh, see, it's all these dudes and all these girls out here. And see, it's this and it's that. And the answer is, it ain't you sitting around on social media talking crazy to them. And the damn show ain't talking to a 16-year-old and he been living 16 years and has never heard your voice. It's not that. You ever thought about going out there with something to eat, talking to them young people? Hey, man, here you go. Here goes some sandwiches. Let me talk to you. Here goes some sandwiches and some drinks. Let me talk to you. You ever thought about that? You ever talk about recreating those standards that we love to brag about and we love to pontificate about? Have you ever thought about that? Probably not. See, because they out of control. They're not willing to listen. You just don't understand. This is a different breed of cat. Is it? Is it? Or is it just an untamed cat? It is a cat that hasn't been groomed properly. See, you brag about your rearing, but you're not willing to rear. Helping someone does not have an expiration date. You do not pick up the hourglass, turn it over and say, okay, when this expires, I'm done helping. If you step up to help, it is a lifelong mission. Back to that Bible, back to that spirituality, back to that deity. God's still working on me. God's still working on you, but you ain't never worked on those young people. How does that work? God is still working on you, but forget them young people. They just worthless. I'm going to use what the church people say. What if God thought that way about you? No. Remember that time you did something that you weren't supposed to do? No, not me. Right. You didn't. But do you have any children? Like, if you're my age, do you have any children at whatever that are at exact age that you start having sexual intercourse? Some of us did get caught up. Some of us got caught up with children. We had young sisters in high school, and three of the young sisters, four of the young sisters, I just thought of four, they doing real good right now. But all of us didn't get caught, but a lot of us tried to have sex, and a lot of us were successful at it. All of us didn't have children, though. And every time I see these four women I'm thinking of who went to Western Vocational High School, it's a warrior thing. All of them, every time they post a picture, they have a smile on their face. And you people who didn't get caught having kids, y'all be looking mad as hell. So while y'all judging the young people who had children, those people killing it right now. Every time I see these four women, they know who they are. If they watching, they know who they are. It's four of them, just right off the top of my head. I've never seen a frown on their faces, and all four of them had children in high school. But you would judge those young ladies today. You know why? Because their parents poured into them. Their parents embraced them. Their parents uplifted them, and now they're doing great. You know why? Because we have people yelling and screaming in our face, and you make me sick. If your kids ain't sick, how many times these kids say you make me sick? They don't, because you appease them with gifts and told, oh, well, you know what? You got all C's and, this gonna make you do better. Man, reward mediocrity breeds mediocrity. Sometimes you have to, and I don't mean physically. Sometimes you have to kick your kid in the ass. I don't mean physically hurt them, physically inflict pain on them, but you have to let them know you're wrong and you're not getting anything. This is the penalty for it. Now they know boundaries. A lot of these people are the grandchildren of the first generation of people who sold and smoked crack. So that means some of their parents died, some of their parents are incarcerated, some of their parents are still addicted to this day, their grandparents. So how could their grandparents raise them? Their grandparents raised their parents properly and they were incarcerated. And damn, here we go. And that's why they are out here doing the things that they shouldn't be doing, because you didn't step up to help. You didn't have self-determination definition, because you didn't say, hey, let me holler at you. This is not the way. Let me slide you a couple dollars. I'm going to school, man. Talk to them. Hey, how your grades doing? Just simple things to show you care. We moved away. The biggest problem, in my personal opinion, is when we get 50 cents, we living in the community. Let's say from the 1600 to the 2800, 2 miles, 2400, 2 miles. We're living within a 2 mile area, half a mile south, a mile south. Instead of, let's say, the affluent people live on this side of the community and the lower working class live on the left side of the community, or the right side, depending upon which way you're looking at. Instead of those people moving back and trying to uplift these people, they move away. Because, see, it's getting bad down there. I don't want it to get bad. No, that's the time you step up. You build more houses in your area, and then you build more houses in these areas. Then you can make money off those houses. And then you uplift the community and you have more people shopping. You have a greater tax base, which means your schools will be funded better. You have a greater need for a grocery store. That means some entrepreneur gets richer and jobs are created. And now we don't have to worry about DEI. And then we have to worry about affirmative action. Then we don't have to worry about a critical race theory, which is insane to me, because critical race theory, you have to go to high school. You have to go to elementary school, graduate. You have to go to high school, graduate. You have to go to college and get a bachelor's degree. And then you have to go to law school or get a master's degree or something of that nature. And then it's an option to take that class, but you have people railing on that class. See, but if we start reinvesting in each other and not be afraid that, hey, I have $1 million, but if I help him, he might get 3. But if he get 3, he pour back into the community, that means somebody else could get 10. And then he pour back in the community, that means somebody can get 25. And then we have a successful, productive community that cannot be stopped. We must reinvest in each other, must reinvest in ourselves, our children, our history, our elders, our women, and brothers. We need to unite. That's what we need to do. See, if you do those things, then it don't make a difference who sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Whether it's Gavin Newsom who's trying to get there, whether it's this dude who's trying to stay there, or JD Vance who want to move up. It could be anybody, because then we have poli-sci majors, political science majors, who are going to the state capitals and the United States capitals. Look, just get out of our way. We don't need to integrate. We're good. And then what happens? People come to us. You don't believe it? Negro leagues. They start letting black people in Major League Baseball because white people start coming to the Negro leagues. What I want you to do is find a white person, ask them to, and start singing a Motown song. Start singing a Funkadelic song. Start singing anything from black culture. Wow, most of them going to sing with you. So you've seen time immemorial. Every time we rise up, Little Richard, Chubby Checker, rock and roll is a white thing now, right? You know, R&B, soul, funk, Adele, what's the Justin Bieber and Justin Timberlake, R&B dancing, hip hop. One of the best rappers in the world is Mmin. You see how they continue to migrate to what we have? But why don't we migrate to what we have, uplifted, and then just watch and we make money off both communities? All I need is us to do this, is to ensure our success. Black liberation. That's what that flag is. I know the red, black, and green flag is a popular flag created by the great Marcus Mosiah Garvey. But this is the flag that we need to stand up for. This is the flag that means the most important to us, because it was created in 1968. Look it up. Black liberation flag. Look it up. It's our flag, black folks. You know, it's our flag. Now, if you don't want to, I understand. Hey, man, that ice on the other side of the street do look a little colder, but it ain't for me. And I don't have a problem with any culture that walks the face of this earth. I have people who are connected to me in all cultures that walk this earth. But guess what? My community, my people, my situation it is in dire straits. People disrespect, disregard, and dismiss us. But we created all the things that you love. You see a bunch of cool ass white dudes on the internet. Big up in us. Salute to them, man. That's why I say I don't have no problem. But until we get our thing together, until me and my woman get our things together, and we get our children together, and then I get together with my siblings, and then we get together with our cousins, and we get together with our elders, that's when we can start worrying about other things. With that being said, this is your man HRap. I will see you tomorrow night with Big Mo, Friday, and Saturday with Trick. With that being said, this is your man, Brian HRap B. Williams. I want to thank you for tapping in. I want you to watch to the very end. I want you to watch to the very end. The reason I need you to watch to the very end because the people that start my show, Dr. Amos Wilson, and the people in my show, they have some heavy things to lay on you. And I need that to be laid on you, Jack. It started off with the great Kwame Ture. I'm going to end with Dr. Amos Wilson. If you come in on the middle of this, when it's published, go back to the beginning and listen to listen to the beginning, then fast forward to the end, listen to the end. Maybe I ain't saying nothing you want to hear, but I want you to hear those two people. Kwame Ture, a.k.a. Stokely Carmichael, Dr. Amos Wilson, they both are ancestors right now, but they both are kicking knowledge. 2 fingers, 1 word. I am HRap B, and we are out.
Growth in wisdom, knowledge, you see, self-understanding and self-discovery, healthy relations, self-control, all those things are hateful. But this is the only way a minority can rule over a majority of people, is by turning their minds backwards so that they love the things that destroy them and hate the things that move them forward. In order for these people to rule over us, we must hate learning. It has to be built into us. We must think that we can't do math. Because you see, if we do math, if we were into learning, if we were into research and into thinking and into, real philosophical ideas and abstractions, we would defeat those people. They know it. So consequently, what they must do is rob you of all of these things so that they may stay in their